We're going to go now to the test tab, all right, and cover some of these tests here. I think the focus will be the dual task cost test for now. So within this folder, you can assess your lower extremity strength, your gait, okay, walking gait, balance. All right. Within each one of these folders are a few tests, okay, that you may be familiar with. All right. These are tests that are commonly used in the physical therapy world to assess somebody's physical abilities. We've taken those, modified them, added a cognitive component to it, which is what you're going to see here today. So in the lower extremity folder, you choose the appropriate test, right? You would not want to give a 60-second sit-to-stand test to somebody who's not able to complete that. So we chose the 30-second version. And now we choose the level of the cognitive difficulty that we want to give to the person we're working with. So level 3 would be for somebody who's cognitively very skilled. And so that's exactly what we have here. Sit to stand 30 seconds, level 3. The program and every dual task cost test program that you're going to see here will follow this same pattern. We'll have a physical only test, a cognitive only test, followed by a dual task test in that order exactly. So what does that look like? For the physical only, we're going to be doing our sit to stand, trying to get as many stand and sitting movements as possible in 30 seconds. The way the system will count and track that will be that the player will strike the center target on every standing phase, which will allow us to accurately capture the number of reps they made. Ultimately, we'll compare that to the dual task test. Now, but before that, we'll do the cognitive only test, seated position. Okay, you can see the game here is level 3. It's quite challenging. We're actually going through the alphabet, skipping a letter after every strike. So you can see we're trying to get as many as possible. It's going to give us points. We're going to get reaction time, accuracy. If we hit an incorrect target, it's going to contribute to that lower accuracy rating. And we'll ultimately be able to compare this to the dual task test, which is the final one here, the dual task test, performing the sit to stand with the cognitive together at the same time, striking one target on every standing phase. So that way we can track just as well the physical only number of repetitions, sit to stands, but also we're getting that cognitive component, right? How many points did we get? What was the reaction time? Did we hit incorrect targets? Okay, we're going to get that too. We're going to compare both of those independently to each other so we can get the results. So when you finish that test, what happens is it automatically generates a report for you. You don't have to do what I'm about to show you. What I'm about to show you is the report recall feature, which is in the build tab. I'll be able to recall a report for somebody like I'm going to show you here. Okay, here we have it. Here's the sit to stand 30 second. This is the test that we ran. You can see who played the test, top of the page. You can see we got a total of 12 repetitions on the physical only. And then you can see we got a 55 points for the cognitive only task. Our reaction time, okay, 2.88 seconds. Our accuracy, 89%. And then the dual task test, you can see we got less points, right? Obviously, 40 points, 15 less points than we got in the cognitive only. We got our accuracy, a slowdown in our reaction time, and 3 less physical repetitions in our dual task test. So clearly the performance dropped, and that's typically what happens when you do the dual task test. Okay, and so the drop in performance and percentages is down at the bottom of the page. You can see, I'll zoom in here a little bit. The far left percentage is a decline in the physical only performance to the dual task test, and the 4 remaining percentages are for the cognitive tests compared to the dual task test. You can see they're typically in a decline. Okay, now the scale of the decline is what we want here. So a lower percentage would be a better dual task cost performance versus a higher percentage would be a worse dual task cost performance. So we want to see that the percentages here get smaller, closer to 0, or maybe in some cases a positive, right? So now this is our baseline. So this is our first test here that we ran for this test. So we're not comparing it to anything yet. What we're going to be doing next after we get this data is we're going to be scrolling down here and playing the pre-designed programming suggested folders here. So you can see we've suggested 2 folders in the pre-designed programs, which is going to be in the play tab. We're going to run these programs for 2 to 4 weeks or 3 to 4 weeks, as Kathy mentioned earlier. Okay, you can see we've got a strength folder on number 1. All right, and we've got an attention folder on number 2. Those are going to be our focus here. We're going to run these in the play tab. We go and follow this breakdown, this exact breakdown. We're going to just follow that and go directly into the pre-designed programs within the play tab. All right, so if you remember correctly, we're going to be choosing the brain health fitness for older adults. We're going to be selecting the independent folder. So this allows us to choose who we're working with, assisted or independent. We're going into independent. So we're going to choose a folder from each one of these. We're going to choose a physical strength folder. So you can see the different physical domains we can work on. So we'd go strength in this case and choose one of our strength exercises. You can see there are levels. We can choose the appropriate level, maybe start on level 1, progress to level 2 and level 3. So as the levels increase, the number of targets in play will also increase, as well as how long the games last will also increase. So the program plays through each one of these activities here in the order that you see them, and then collects your data as you go. And then as you finish each one, each program's complete. You'll be able to generate a PDF report, see how you're doing, see the progress over time. Are we also getting better on these programs too? And if that's the case, great, and then we ran these programs for 3 to 4 weeks, and then retest against the baselines. So you can see we're doing a sit to stand, again, lower extremity strength, okay? And we're just developing that component, but also always doing the dual task component as well. So you're just seeing a few ways you can do that. Step ups, okay? The higher the step, the more of the strength component you're working. You can see the level 2 is not all 9 targets lit. It's only 5, okay? So it's a bit easier, not as much time on level 2. Level 3 gets more and more challenging that way. Kneeling get-ups, just to show a few of them for the strength component. You'll be working these, okay, choosing the correct level. And then once you finish the strength, we also need to work on our attention. So we go into the same folder, follow the same pattern, but now we choose cognitive, and you can see the different domains of the brain, different cognitive domains you can work on. Our focus will be attention. So you choose an attention folder. All right, maybe it's a level 2 again. Maybe it's a level 3. You get to see ahead of time what's being done in each one of those. All right, and then go ahead and play that program. All right, the great thing about these programs is that it automatically cycles you to the next one as you complete a program. So you don't have to worry about touching the app and choosing the next one and the next one. It does that for you within the app. So it allows you to watch the video, the client watches the video, you get to see what's being done here, and then you just go ahead and do it and just follow the example. And so you're just seeing a variety of different ways you can do that. I won't go into too much detail here. You can see some of the stepping drills. This program's big focus is stepping, like ADL, crossover step, forward and backward stepping, things like that, step up. So a lot of programming. There's so much programming in here that allows you to really target who you're working with based off those suggested programs that we showed earlier. So, of course, the retest feature is, after you've played those pre-designed programmings for weeks on end, you come back, retest the same test you ran, and the data you collect will be the same. However, it will show from point A to point B how much progress has been made. It'll show it in a percentage, but also on a graph. So, if you have a 12-week program, you may have 4 data points across those 12 weeks to see the improvement made here. So just taking a little bit more time to generate it, looks like, in order to look at that. And here we have it. So the first page, we've added 2 pages to this report now. The first page is similar to what you saw last time, okay, but it's just looking at the second attempt for this information. Now, this page you haven't seen yet. So what we're going to be looking at is either an improvement or a decline. Did we get better or did we get worse when we retested? So you can see the majority is all green, so we got better. So that's a good sign. We want to get better. The different areas on this page, the top one is just the improved performance for our physical only, the improved performance or decline in our cognitive only, our dual task tests, but ultimately the bottom percentages are the most important because these are referencing our dual task costs analysis, okay? And this is the one we want to see mostly get better. So we're seeing a significant improvement here, which is amazing, meaning our pre-designed programming that we chose is working, okay? Great. Let's keep utilizing those. All right, these graphs now are going to basically correlate exactly what you saw with those percentages. The percentages are going to be referencing these graphs here, these 2 data points. So they're kind of small for you to see, but it will clearly identify whether that person's getting better or not from session 1 to session 2. And then, of course, after you've analyzed those, you get to see those, again, those recommended programs. All right, strength, attention, it's the same test. It's a sit to stand test, so it's strength. The game that we were playing, Seek the Letter, ABCs, is an attention focused game. So that's why it's pointing us to that folder. So we would go ahead and utilize those.